Welcome to Passion Travel. Explore world street food, captivating vlogs, and inspiring journeys with us. Subscribe to experience adventure in every video. Gâteau Basque, traditional Basque cake filled with pastry cream or cherry jam. Recipe for Gâteau Basque along with its ingredients and preparation steps. Ingredients. For the dough: 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 cup granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, half a cup unsalted butter, softened, 2 large eggs, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, zest of 1 lemon. For the filling: 1½ cups fruit preserves, traditionally cherry or apricot, 1 tablespoon rum or brandy, optional. Preparation. Prepare the dough. In a mixing bowl, whisk together the flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Add the softened butter and mix until it resembles coarse crumbs. Beat in the eggs, vanilla extract, and lemon zest until the dough comes together. You can use a stand mixer or your hands to do this. Form the dough into a ball, wrap it in plastic wrap, and refrigerate for at least 1 hour. Prepare the filling. If using, mix the fruit preserves with rum or brandy in a small bowl. This step is optional, but adds extra flavor to the filling. Assemble the Gâteau Basque. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 175 degrees Celsius. Grease a 9-inch, 23 centimeters, round cake pan or tart pan. Take the chilled dough out of the refrigerator. Divide it into 2 equal parts, one slightly larger than the other. Roll out the larger portion of dough on a lightly floured surface into a circle large enough to cover the bottom and sides of the prepared pan. Carefully transfer the rolled out dough to the pan, pressing it gently into the bottom and up the sides. Spread the fruit preserves evenly over the dough in the pan, leaving a small border around the edges. Roll out the remaining dough into a circle, slightly smaller than the pan. Place it over the fruit preserves, sealing the edges with the bottom crust. Use a knife to trim any excess dough from the edges. Bake the Gâteau Basque. Bake in the preheated oven for 30 to 35 minutes, or until the crust is golden brown. Let the Gâteau Basque cool in the pan for about 10 minutes, then carefully transfer it to a wire rack to cool completely. Serve at room temperature, either on its own or with a dollop of whipped cream or a sprinkle of powdered sugar on top. Crepes Suzette. Crepes served with a sauce of caramelized sugar and butter, often flambéed with orange liqueur. Recipe for Crepes Suzette. Ingredients. For the crepes: 1 cup all-purpose flour, 2 large eggs, 1 cup milk, 1/4 cup water, 2 tablespoons melted butter, 1 tablespoon granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt. Butter or oil for cooking. For the sauce: half a cup unsalted butter, half a cup granulated sugar, zest of 1 orange, zest of 1 lemon, half a cup freshly squeezed orange juice, 1/4 cup freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1/4 cup Grand Marnier or Cointreau, optional. Preparation. Prepare the crepe batter. In a blender, combine the flour, eggs, milk, water, melted butter, sugar, and salt. Blend until smooth. Let the batter rest for about 30 minutes to allow the flour to fully hydrate. Cook the crepes. Heat a non-stick skillet or crepe pan over medium heat. Add a small amount of butter or oil to coat the pan. Pour about 1/4 cup of batter into the center of the pan, swirling it around to spread it thinly and evenly. Cook the crepe for about 1 to 2 minutes on one side until lightly golden, then flip and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes on the other side. Continue cooking the crepes until all the batter is used, stacking them on a plate as you go. You should get about 10 to 12 crepes from this recipe. Prepare the sauce. In a large skillet, melt the butter over medium heat. Add the granulated sugar and citrus zests, orange and lemon. Cook, stirring constantly until the sugar is dissolved and the mixture is bubbly. Carefully add the orange juice and lemon juice to the skillet. Allow the mixture to simmer for a few minutes until it thickens slightly. If using, carefully add the Grand Marnier or Cointreau to the skillet and let it warm through for a minute. Flambe the Crepes Suzette. Fold each crepe into quarters and place them in the skillet with the sauce, letting them soak up the flavors for a minute or two. Using a long-handled lighter or a match, carefully ignite the sauce in the skillet. Be cautious and keep a lid nearby to smother the flames if needed. Let the flames die down naturally as the alcohol burns off. Shake the skillet gently to coat the crepes in the sauce. Serve. Serve the crepes Suzette warm, spooning some of the sauce over each serving. Optionally, garnish with additional citrus zest or a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Salade Niçoise, salad with tuna, eggs, olives, and various vegetables. Recipe for Salade Niçoise. Ingredients. For the salad: 8 ounces, 225 g, fresh green beans, trimmed. 4 large eggs. 1 head of lettuce, such as Boston or butter lettuce, washed and torn into bite-sized pieces. 2 large ripe tomatoes, sliced. 1/2 red onion, thinly sliced. 1/2 cup Niçoise olives or Kalamata olives. 1 6-ounce can of tuna, drained. 4 to 6 anchovy fillets, optional. 2 tablespoons capers, drained. For the dressing: 1/4 cup extra virgin olive oil. 2 tablespoons red wine vinegar. 1 teaspoon Dijon mustard. 1 clove garlic, minced. Salt and pepper to taste. Preparation: cook the green beans. Bring a pot of salted water to a boil. Add the green beans and cook until just tender, about 3 to 4 minutes. Drain and immediately plunge the beans into a bowl of ice water to stop the cooking process. Once cooled, drain and set aside. Hard-boil the eggs. Place the eggs in a saucepan and cover them with cold water. Bring the water to a boil, then reduce the heat to low and simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. Remove the eggs from the water and transfer them to a bowl of ice water to cool. Once cooled, peel the eggs and cut them into halves or quarters. Prepare the dressing. In a small bowl, whisk together the olive oil, red wine vinegar, Dijon mustard, minced garlic, salt, and pepper until well combined. Adjust seasoning to taste. Assemble the salad. Arrange the torn lettuce leaves on a large serving platter or individual plates. Arrange the cooked green beans, sliced tomatoes, red onion, tuna, hard-boiled eggs, Niçoise olives, anchovy fillets, if using, and capers over the lettuce in an aesthetically pleasing manner. Serve. Drizzle the dressing over the assembled salad or serve it on the side. Serve the Salade Niçoise immediately, with crusty bread or baguette if desired. Pommes Frites, French fries, a ubiquitous street food. Recipe for Pommes Frites, which are essentially French fries. Ingredients. For large russet potatoes, peeled and cut into uniform matchsticks. Vegetable oil, for frying. Salt, to taste. Preparation. Prepare the potatoes. Peel the potatoes and rinse them under cold water to remove excess starch. Pat them dry with paper towels. Cut the potatoes into uniform matchstick shapes about 1/4 inch thick. You can use a knife or a mandolin slicer for this. Preheat the oil. Pour vegetable oil into a deep fryer or a large, heavy-bottomed pot. You'll need enough oil to fully submerge the fries. Heat the oil to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, 160 degrees Celsius over medium heat. Use a candy thermometer to monitor the temperature. First fry. Once the oil reaches the correct temperature, carefully add a handful of the potato sticks to the hot oil, being cautious not to overcrowd the pot. Fry the potatoes for about 4 to 5 minutes, or until they are just starting to become tender but have not yet browned. Use a slotted spoon or a spider strainer to remove the partially cooked fries from the oil and transfer them to a paper towel-lined plate to drain. Repeat this process with the remaining potato sticks. Second fry. Increase the heat of the oil to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 degrees Celsius. Once the oil reaches the correct temperature, add the partially cooked fries back into the hot oil in batches. Fry the potatoes for an additional 2 to 3 minutes, or until they are golden brown and crispy. Again, use a slotted spoon or spider strainer to remove the fries from the oil and transfer them to a paper towel-lined plate to drain. Season and serve. Immediately sprinkle the hot fries with salt, to taste, while they are still hot. Serve the pommes frites hot and crispy, either on their own or with your favorite dipping sauce, such as ketchup, aioli, or mayonnaise. Pain Perdu, French toast made with day-old bread soaked in eggs, milk, and sugar. Recipe for pain Perdu, also known as French toast. Ingredients. For slices of day-old bread, such as French bread, brioche, or challah, sliced about ½ inch thick. 2 large eggs. ½ cup milk. 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. 1/2 teaspoon ground cinnamon, optional. 2 tablespoons unsalted butter. Maple syrup, powdered sugar, or fresh fruit, for serving. Preparation. Prepare the egg mixture. In a shallow dish or bowl, whisk together the eggs, milk, vanilla extract, and ground cinnamon, if using, until well combined. This mixture will be used to soak the bread slices. Soak the bread. Place the bread slices in the egg mixture, turning them over to coat both sides evenly. Let the bread soak for about 30 seconds to 1 minute on each side, depending on how stale the bread is. You want the bread to absorb the egg mixture without becoming too soggy. Cook the pain Perdu. In a large skillet or frying pan, melt the butter over medium heat. Once the butter is melted and the skillet is hot, carefully transfer the soaked bread slices to the skillet, making sure not to overcrowd the pan. Cook the bread slices for 2 to 3 minutes on each side, or until they are golden brown and crispy on the outside and cooked through on the inside. Use a spatula to flip the slices halfway through cooking. Serve. Once cooked, transfer the pain Perdu slices to serving plates. Serve the pain Perdu hot, drizzled with maple syrup, dusted with powdered sugar, or accompanied by fresh fruit, as desired.